Hi, I'm Rich Boone of Solomon Wines, and I'd like to welcome you to our tasting room in beautiful downtown Murphys, California. Murphys is a gold rush community that dates back to the original California gold rush days in the 1800s, and interestingly, the city has not changed much since then, except for the fact that it has now become sort of the wine tasting capital of the Sierra Foothills with 15 tasting rooms. In fact, one of those is ours, the Solomon Wine Company. So let's go inside and check out some of our wines. I'd like to introduce you to Nancy Steele, our winemaker, and Nancy comes from a very long history in this industry already, despite her obviously youthful appearance. She has experience in the Sonoma Valley, in the Napa Valley, and even a little bit of international experience down in Australia. Well, then with the certainly the apprenticeship in Napa, the apprenticeship in Sonoma are something that make total sense to me, having spent 30-some years in the industry myself. But how did the Australian experience work its way into your resume?
Well, I wanted to go abroad, and they speak English there, so that was a natural fit. But my father was the mayor of Fremont, the city I grew up in, and he had a sister city in Australia. And so I always was interested in Australia. And since they have a wine industry, and it was a young, growing wine industry, it was a perfect fit.
And then you came back and were a head winemaker at a Zinfandel specialist in the Sonoma Valley before you moved to, I think, become founding winemaker at Perry Creek Winery in El Dorado. Why leave the fame and fortune of the Sonoma Valley for the relatively unknown area of the Sierra Foothills?
Well, that was part of the attraction. It was unknown, and it was an opportunity to get in the ground floor of a new and growing wine area.
And okay, so now that you've been firmly established in the Sierra Foothills, what do you think are the defining characteristics of Sierra Foothills wine that really separate them from the other growing regions of California?
Well, I would have to say the concentration of the fruit and the minerality. There's something about the climate, the soils, that there's just a consistent thread through wines of those two attributes.
And for those that may not be familiar with the terms of fruit concentration and minerality, can you sort of explain the concentration of fruit in the Sierra Foothills?
Well, the concentration of fruit is just a unique grape quality, a richness of character that we get in this climate in the Sierra Foothills.
And minerality?
Minerality would go back to the unique soils we have here, and the fact that many of the soils are very new. They're new granitic soils that aren't very deep, and I think that the grapes really pull from the soils a lot of their character.
But yet with Zinfandels, particularly from Amador, we have some of the oldest, if not the oldest, Zinfandel vineyards in California, right?
But I think that even gets more unique because the grapes have been growing for 100 years, and so the roots have just grown, who knows, 30, 50 feet down in the soil. Now really, that makes the Sierra Foothills unique, that our vines have been growing for centuries in some cases.
Now it's wintertime here in Murphys, probably where you are too. And so that means the vines have already yielded their 2008 harvest, and they've entered their winter dormancy state. So there's really not a lot to look at here in the vineyards. But the point that I would like to make is that about 90% of our grapes these days are sourced from the Sierra Foothills counties of El Dorado, Amador, and Calaveras. This is, in my opinion, the most distinctive growing region in the state of California, perhaps in California, because it is the only pure mountain appellation in the state. Napa, Sonoma, these have their mountainous regions like Howell Mountain and Napa, but all the vineyards in the Sierra Foothills are at an altitude of at least 1,500 feet. Most of them are at 2,000 feet or more. And that makes for very distinctive wines. It makes the fruit, in my opinion, a little bit brighter, and the mineral character that Nancy has spoken about also adds for a little bit of complexity. But to me, the big characteristic of Sierra Foothills wines is that there is just something about them. They're a little bit less tannic, a little bit less astringent, so eminently more drinkable. Beyond the drinkability, one of the things that we are known for is our blending of wines. Very few of our wines are single varietal wines. Those are very popular in California right now. And that's partially because of personal philosophy that really there's no such thing as perfect wine grape. Every grape has its assets and its drawbacks, and by blending, we can amplify those assets and sort of mask the drawbacks to make a far more enjoyable wine for you. Second reason that we do this is because our winemaker is simply recognized as one of the best blending winemakers in California, and that's where the artisanship in winemaking comes in. You simply don't want to take a lady with a recognized artistic talent and say, go make me a Merlot. That's just not what she does best.